Newspaper reviewer Chukwudi Okoli Abuja is here. Good morning, Chuks. How are you today?
Good morning, Demola. How do you do?
How do you do?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Happy Salah.
Thank you.
You said, no, that's not the one that need to send gifts to people.
Yeah.
You cook, people come.
People visit.
So why didn't I get to address before yesterday? Do you mind? This is not fair. Lady and gentlemen, I'm glad to be here.
It's a beautiful morning.
It is. So
Yeah,
good to see you.
and it's good to see you actually. We have some papers this morning and then we'll look at the review. Let me begin with the Daily Trust newspaper. And I begin with the Daily Trust newspaper. I begin with under the masthead now. We have cracks widen in PDP as North Central insists on chairmanship. Find the details on page 11. Controversy over price war on London route. You find details on page 18. And at the bottom plate of the Daily Trust newspaper, Salah, seek knowledge, pray for leaders, Sultan tells Muslims. Find the details on page 27. Passengers missing as bus plunges into Lagos Lagoon. The sad event took place yesterday. You find the details on page 16. Customs import duty rate falls to 1,238 naira to the dollar. And the headlines on the Daily Trust newspaper: CBN sacks 50 more staff, with riders 117 gone in 20 days. Staff accuses management of illegality, double standard. External vendors affected. You find all the details on page 4. And the picture story: Muslims at the Eid ground across the country as they commence their celebration of Eid al-Fitr. Let me quickly go to the Leadership newspaper now. And above the masthead, masterminds of Agojeju Odo attack arrested. That's coming from the governor of Kogi State, Ododo. NAFDAC recalls Benylin syrup, declares it toxic. Details on page 7. New tariff, pressure mounts on FG's discourse to close 8 million metering gap. You find the details on page 7. Eid al-Fitr, Buhari Abdusalami Sultan urged love and prayers. Details on page 7. At the side piece of the picture story, my impeachment won't stand, Shuaibu declares. Want to know what he's talking about? You find the details on page 18. 91 Chibok girls' parents write Tinubu's wife. Details on page 12. Violation: TikTok deletes 1.7 million Nigerian users' videos in fourth quarter. Details on page 23. Legal team threatens to withdraw from Kanu's case. Details on page 18. And the headlines in the Leadership newspaper: as heat wave persists, high energy cost, poor electricity compound health risk, with riders, children, albinos, elderly, pregnant women most vulnerable to heat wave. That's coming from health experts. You find the details on page 4. And the picture story there: President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Chairman FBN Holdings PLC, Mr. Femi Otedola, during Otedola's Salah visit to the President in Lagos yesterday. That's about what I have on the Daily Trust and the Leadership. Demola?
All right, thank you. I have the Vanguard newspaper, and above the nameplate, transfer of pension money out of Nigeria escalates. Details on page 19. Inquiry: Okwama community shuns military panel. Okoloba in attendance. The details can be found on page 4. PDP NEC meeting: governors, others renew battle for party's soul. The story can be found on page 4. Fair Court: Air Peace Chairman Oyema slams foreign airlines over conspiracy. Details can be found on page 9. Eid al-Fitr, our security is improving, the federal government says. The details can be found on page 25. And the major headline, tariff hike, 20 hours supply for Band A customers under threat. As power allocation hovers at 3,236 megawatts. Port Harcourt Disco apologizes for shortfall. Kaduna Disco sets up response teams. No transparency, fairness in billing. CPPE. Firms will pay for the services they don't enjoy. LCCI. Experts expect improvement in supply. Details can be found on page 20. Edo gubernatorial issues. My impeachment won't stand. Shuaibo. The details is on page 7. Alleged defamation. Beta Edo threatens to sue BBC. We have arrested masterminds of Kogi killings. Governor Ododo. The details can be found on page 12. And the front page picture, we can see that the president is with some government officials at the Eid ground in Lagos. Then we have the Wardroom warns Nigeria over Olympic preparations, says they should prepare, better. The details is on sports page 29. And back to Mr. and Mrs. My mom called. She said I sounded frail over the phone, that I must have lost weight. I'm not surprised if she's still using that old cheap and lightweight phone. Everything she does with it becomes weightless.
That's a good one.
Chooks.
Everything she does with a weightless phone becomes weightless. Let them buy a sophisticated iPhone for
her,
money.
iPhone 14.
After she deserves it. Don't tell me, how could you buy such an expensive phone for people to just make calls and maybe send SMS? But she deserves it.
Yeah, she does.
Mothers are mothers. But that's really a funny one. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
We started by telling our colleague here, Happy Salah. Actually, before we went on the air, I said, Juma, I didn't get any gift from you. And she explained to me that Eid al-Maulud is the big one. Of course, no event in a religion is a lesser consideration
yes,
at all.
yes.
They are all important.
Yes.
But she explained that Eid al-Maulud is the one that requires you, if you can afford it, to send gifts to people. Yesterday, you were supposed to know the person's address. She didn't give me hers.
Usually the gifts are given during the Ramadan itself. When, you can send food to people during Ramadan. They can come to your house to break their fast. It's a process for 30 days. It's just continuous like that.
Go from
one place to the other.
Now, this takes me to something we should appreciate. The feeding of many people by some important, please, everybody's important. Some Nigerians who could afford it. The oneness it created in people's minds, the community life Africa is known for. Those things were really commendable. President Ahmed Bola Tinubu prayed at the Dodon Barracks grounds in Lagos. This paper said ground. I think it's grounds, actually. That's the
grounds,
English of it. And then he talked about sacrifice, which we need to show at this time. Further went on to plead with Nigerians to support his government. Some cynics to say, do we have a choice? But it goes beyond that. Whoever is in leadership is believed by some of us to have been installed by God. If God does not support Jumai being my president, Jumai cannot last on the throne. So if a leader gets elected and he stays there, please consider it as God's choice.
So we should support.
Cynical people don't make a lot of progress in life. People tell me, you're an incredible optimist. I tell them, that's why Chooks the boy laughs all the time. I'm going to smile into my grave.
I don't like pessimists at all.
They kill my day.
Yeah, I'm an optimistic
And my father, when we was alive, would tell you, small man, you're petty. Come on. There was a man in my village. He had a case in Ogwashuku in those days with somebody. He was one of the few people that had cars. Each time he was going to Ogwashuku, he would call the person he had a case against in Ogwashuku.
They go together.
They go together. I say, you're a wonderful man. I say, a court case does not mean that you're my enemy.
Enemy at all.
Only broad-minded people think like that. He eventually lost the case, and he was taking the other litigant to court in his car. I like broad-minded human beings. They make you happy.
That is the spirit of brotherhood.
Yes. Then let's quickly go to one very good one. They say anything that rises in Nigeria never comes down. Dangote Group is telling you, no, that's not true. The proposal, if it has not started already, is that diesel is likely to go down from to 1,200 naira per liter from 1,650. Remember, I wrote mathematics 3 times and failed it 4 times. So you do the subtraction and tell us the difference.
They're actually proposing that it will go down to between 1,000 to 850 naira.
And fuel to 5,550.
I like the smile it brings to your lips. Takes you away from that territory of band A, soliloquy.
You like the smile, but you didn't see the new look on them.
New look?
Didn't.
Oh,
okay.
The wild grass there. I don't like people who wear it. Well, some beards are really rich.
Yeah.
I never ever attained that level.
Don't worry.
But the scanty ones, I don't like.
I'm just growing this.
That's a good one.
And one other
Please
thing.
wear it if it. Please quickly. Talking about band A.
Yes.
I loaded 12,000 naira this morning. I had 26 units. And the thing went up to 146.
Yes, you are not in band A now.
You're not in band A.
Don't announce that I come from the hinterland.
And
After some time, I went back. It went to 206 units. Maybe I'm one of the people who are getting a refund.
Yes, refund. Yes,
you're not.
I was excited.
I would have jumped. Did you jump with joy?
Yes.
Band A. We are coping very well.
Yes.
But you see, there is a problem right now because, say, 20 hours supply for band A customers under threat.
Yes.
So what do you say about that?
What sort of threat? That means it's not going to get to 20 hours.
How?
Good. Now, if that is the case, I go back to my usual maxim here. Fair is fair. If they don't get up to 20 hours, don't bill them like people who are in the 20 hours band or territory. It's as simple as that.
Well, and the health experts are also saying that high energy costs, poor electricity compound health risks. I saw some of my neighbors using generator over the night. Their unit finished and then they had to resort to generator. We're talking about zero emission by 2030, and with this tariff now, most people in band A will be leaning more towards using the generator and emission.
But to be fair, in the past 1 week, we've had electricity for more than 20 hours in my area. So
yes, we've had, but the rain of day before yesterday, when they took the light around 9 p.m., they didn't bring it until 11 a.m. on Tuesday morning.
It affected even band Z people.
I don't understand why a little wind, the light goes off in Nigeria. In other places, they have tornadoes, they have, whatever, in other climes, and then the electricity is there. What is the problem with this country where there's a little wind, electricity goes off for hours?
It means that some standards are not met.
They are not met.
Yes, because you are supposed to have steady power. When I was a NEPA clerk,
You were a NEPA clerk.
It was
the man.
I've seen the world a bit.
What have you
D.O. Benin then, Martin Sobi, where is that useless clerk? Have you done the files for trace clearing? Those pylons. And so I finished it. He called me a useless clerk. But the man eventually gave me a job, vocation job, when those things were not going out.
Yes.
He said, my son, I knew you would not stay. When I got into Uniben, and great human being. He was trained at Sapele Power Station or Gorodi. He was always shouting. And I was wondering why. British trained. They said at Sapele Power Station, because of the revving of the engines, you will have to raise your voice to be heard. It became their habit. Where is that useless clerk? This is Grillo. No, it was wonderful.
You're a jack of all trades.
Oh, well, I've kicked around a bit.
You've mastered all.
Well, I thank God for small mercies.
Did you drive Kabu Kabu?
Kabu Kabu?
You know what Kabu Kabu is?
Please kick me out.
That's what I want to have. So, with that, thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, Chooks.
Thank you.
Enjoy the remaining of your holiday.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to wish you guys well for a few days, you know, from tomorrow. But I trust by God's grace I'm going to bounce back in a few days too.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
You.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Chooks.
Chooks.
Bless you.
Now we'll draw the curtain now.